Adrian. Adrian, welcome and thank you for agreeing to do this and being interviewed. So I am recording it. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, that's fine. No
And
problem.
are you happy if I share it on my YouTube channel for the other PDIs because they love this sort of stuff to hear about other people's
Yeah.
experience and
No problem at all. So yeah, all
and
prepped,
so would
ready.
would you be happy just to sort of give you briefly share the highlights of your day, your test, what happened, the second
Yeah,
attempt, how it
yeah,
went, what you did to pass it, and yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the young lady I had about 20 hours of instruction. I think she'd had exactly 20 hours. We'd just been doing roundabouts for the previous 2 or 3 lessons. Her gap judgment was generally very good. Occasionally she was a bit quick on approach, but positionally she was good. So the plan for the part 3 was that we were going to start on and introduce rural roads. So she lives in Cossey, so we had a bit of a trek to get over to Peachman Way. A number of roundabouts there, where the speed on approach was consistently a bit quick, and we were trying to fix that on the way over.
Right.
And we'd got that done by the time we got to the Heartsease roundabout, so the speed had been fixed. So I was thinking, okay, good, everything's on track for rural roads. And then we got to the roundabout at the hospital, and she straight lined it. And then she got to the next one by Costa, and she straight lined that. So all of a sudden, I've got to change.
You're 5 minutes from arriving at the test centre.
Yeah,
and
yes,
a new problem has presented itself.
Yeah. So we got to the test centre, and I said, look, we're going to have to fix what we've done. I'm going to need to just adapt the lesson that we had planned. All right, so I will let Karen, well, as it turned out, it was Karen. I said, I'm just going to have to let the examiner know what the change is. So out popped Karen. I thought, that's not Brad.
Right.
To which she very kind of said, well, no, you've got me now. I said, yes, and that's absolutely fine. No issue at all. So she came across really quite approachable, friendly. She put the pupil, I think, at ease. She forgot quite quickly that she was in the car, didn't really see her. I think she was hiding away from the mirror, so she didn't even get in the mirror checks. So she asked what the lesson was going to be on, and I said, look, well, the plan was it was going to be rural roads. We'd already done the briefing before we set off to make sure we didn't have any unnecessary waiting around. And I said, look, there's been an issue on the way over with a couple of roundabouts. She straight lined a couple, been in too quick to a couple of others. So I just need to get that fixed before we go into rural roads. If it takes a bit of time to get it fixed, then rural roads is just going to have to get parked, and we do that on another lesson. So, and that was, yeah, okay, understand, good. So we got on with it, and it's the roundabouts around the test centre. You don't get better roundabouts to teach than that. And first couple, we were a bit quick in, and she straight lined the third. So we pulled her up, talked through that, did some Q&A around what position should we take, how do we sort the speed out, and offered her the opportunity for me to step in and just talk her through what needed to be done, which we did for the first couple, and then heading up to one of the others said, do you want to take responsibility for that yourself now? Which she did. And the roundabouts improved, and they were going nicely. We got probably 25 minutes into it, and I think we just about got them sorted. At which point I've just said, look, how do you feel about mixing it up a little bit, having a look at a couple of different roundabouts? Which she came back with, yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, I'll take the responsibility, sort that out myself. and we went down to the Broadland Gate roundabout to turn right back towards the hospital. And if you wanted any manna from heaven, the driving across the solid white lines and the hatch markings is the one that you want on your part 3, because you just grab the steering wheel, put her back into the lane, pull her over at the next roundabout, went left at the Costa roundabout, pulled her straight up, talked about it, got her understanding of, you know, what were you thinking. She said, well, we always exit roundabouts in the left lane. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, of course we do. Unless, what were the road markings? Oh, that was solid white line. Yeah. So can we drive over those? No. I said, would you drive over if it was a bus lane? No. And then we just went a little bit further and asked, you know, do you understand why those hatch markings are there? Well, no, not really. So we explained about the roundabout, the slip road coming up across over the bridge, over the dual carriageway, and how dangerous that was. And then she went, yeah, get it. Okay, understand. And at that point, we're at about 40 minutes. So we haven't got time to go. We haven't got time to go and fix it. So I've made it very clear that, okay, when we finish the test, we're going to have to just fix that on the way home, make sure it's fixed. And drove back to the test centre, got to Forward Bay Park, talked her through that, and then that was it. So
at that point, did you think, I've done it? Did you have a feeling, or did you think you'd fluffed it up?
I felt I'd been given enough opportunity from the pupil to have done enough to pass.
Yeah, you need some mistakes. You've got to have mistakes on you to get your teeth into. Yeah,
absolutely. I thought I'd done enough, but I thought I'd done enough on the first one as well. So I didn't want to count my chickens, really. So yeah, then, as you know, you sit in that waiting room waiting for the call to come back into the office. And she asked how I thought that went, and I went, yeah, I think it's gone okay. She went, but it could have gone better. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I think it probably could have gone better. Yeah, she went, don't worry, you've passed. At which point I just went, thank God for that. Yeah. So there was some interesting feedback. The incident at Broadland Gate was fine, she said, and she said, look, learning has clearly taken place. So she's much better at the end of the lesson than she was at the start of the lesson. So learning has clearly taken place. Your instructions and your briefings were very clear, communicated very well. She said, there's a couple of things. She said, do you think the speed on approach, she said, when would you start to think about a roundabout? So I said, well, certainly before the road sign and as soon as I can really see it. She went, so why don't you give the instruction then? Do you think the instruction's coming a bit late?
Oh, okay.
That's impacting the speed at which she's arriving at the roundabout. And I went, well, I honestly didn't think they were late. I mean, it's not something that you and I have ever picked up on, is my late instruction. There might be the odd one, but as a regular thing, it's. So I thought, okay. I said, look, I'll hear what you're saying. I'll take that on board. And I have put that into practice. And it depends on the pupil. Some of them, it helps. And other ones go, sorry, where did you say we were going?
By the time they get there.
By the time they get there, yeah. And then there was an incident with a cyclist. So there was a cyclist going towards the test centre, and she just asked how I felt she dealt with that. And I thought she dealt with it really nicely. She'd slowed down, given the cyclist a bit of room, then got a bit close, and then made the gap a bit bigger, gave plenty of clearance to come round, and then pulled in. And I thought she dealt with that okay. Got a bit close, but opened the gap, went round. Do you think she pulled in a bit early? And I'm thinking, no, I thought it was okay. She said, well, when would you pull in if you were overtaking a car on a dual character? I said, well, when you see headlights in the centre mirror. She went, yeah. Do you think if you saw your cyclist in the centre mirror, you'd know you? Yeah, okay. Again, fair point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the feedback was good, positive. So, yeah, it was definitely a better experience for the pupil with Karen. And she ended it with, well, I'll see you in about a year. So I'm assuming that Karen is the new permanent ADI examiner.
Yeah.
But, in terms of the in-car training at the start, the additional hours that we put in with you, again, you're seeing the journey of the teaching ability. And then there's others. There's Rob Carey. He's been a massive help all through the whole journey, from right at the very start through the teaching part of it. And he's there as a voice of sanity and reason for me at the end of a tough old day. So his help has been great. And also Mark Horn has been amazing in terms of the sitting in the car sessions with him. And Mark, the two I've sat in with Mark have been for test standard pupils. And he said, well, I'm not really going to teach you much because they're test standard and I'm not really going to have to fix a lot. I went, no, but you're going to show me what a test ready pupil looks like. And I haven't got that. I've got no idea what a test ready pupil looks like. So yeah, so those two have been great. And obviously yourself, Howard, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure helping you on your.
Yeah.
It's a journey, isn't it? It's not a quick.
It is a journey. It's a marathon.
Yeah,
it is a marathon. It's not something you can do quickly.
Yeah.
Unless let me you can do it quickly if you're doing 6 or 8 hours training a week, plus the home learning, plus the skills workbooks, plus the subjects workbooks, and you're doing all your reading. But you've got to put the hours in to get there. You can't do it with a couple of hours here and a couple of hours there and a little bit of teaching.
And the real thing is that the practice and getting out with real students, because then you really, you, like you said earlier, you see, I tried that worked, and I tried that and that didn't work, maybe with that people. And after enough of it, you start to work out what works with what people and not with that people, and then it all starts to come to, and you can't teach someone experience.
I wish I'd have done it years ago. I honestly do wish I'd have done it years ago. Absolutely love it. Today's result I'm really chuffed with, because I really didn't know what to expect with her on her test today, having done it 6 times and gone to pieces on the test. So I'm chuffed to bits for her, and a 0 fault test on the end of it is just amazing.
So sorry, there was 0 fault today?
Yes. Have I not mentioned that already?
I just heard from Sam, oh, Adrian had a pass today. I didn't realise it was 0 faulter.
Yeah, 0 faulter for someone that's failed 6 times.
Respect.